All right, guys. Well, free agency is right around the corner. Next week, Monday, March 10th, begins the legal tampering period. And guys, this is such a pivotal turning point for our organization. There's so much change happening within the Jaguars. We've got a new EVP, a new head coach, a new general manager. What a time to be a Jags fan. By the way, my name's Paul, and I am just a Jags fan like you guys. And today I wanted to share my final predictions and my overall final thoughts on what our free agency is going to look like. Let's get into it. Well, can you believe it, guys? It is already March. This year is flying by. I just got back from celebrating the old 32nd birthday. Thank you guys for those of you who wished me a happy birthday. I appreciate it. Much love. But yeah, next Monday, March 10th, kicks off the legal tampering period of our free agency. Free agency officially begins on March 12th. And so I just wanted to share my final thoughts and my predictions of how this offseason is going to go, what this free agency is going to look like, and where my head is at. We've heard time and time again now this unified vision. Okay, so we've got a collective of guys running this team. We've got head coach Liam Cohen, James Gladstone, our general manager, and our executive vice president, Tony Baselli. All three of these guys have all come out and shared this unified vision, saying that they are going to focus on building the trenches. We've heard Liam Cohen talk and preach about his offense. I mean, we just saw last season what he did in Tampa Bay. Incredible run game, and that always starts first with the offensive line. We've got Tony Baselli as our EVP. I mean, Hall of Fame tackle. Talk about knowing and understanding the importance of the offensive line. It's that guy. And lastly, we've got James Gladstone, who we've heard time and time again at the Combine talking about building that dish. I've never heard anybody call the offensive line a dish, but that is a dish that will be serving up all day long in 2025. So that's kind of where my head is at going into this free agency. I don't think that this is going to be a free agency where we go after big splashy names and sign this weapon and that weapon. I very much think about the Chargers offseason last year. Now, what the Chargers did was really an addition by subtraction. So we watched them move on from both Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, two of Justin Herbert's main targets on offense. Now, at first, this was like a little freaky. Everybody on Chargers Twitter was like, what are we doing? But Harbaugh had a plan all along. I mean, this is the Michigan man here. You knew that he was going to build the trenches. He has come out and said, he views offensive linemen as weapons, the tip of the spear. So that was their game plan all along. And I see the Jaguars kind of following suit here. And just speaking about the Chargers, we saw them have success last year. They went to the playoffs. I mean, what more could you ask for in your first year with a new head coach? So again, I think the Jags are going to follow suit there, and we're going to build this offensive and defensive line, even if that means moving on from weapons on offense. So, elephant in the room, speaking about weapons, I am talking about Christian Kirk and Evan Engram. Now, guys, I hate this just as much as you. I am a big Kirk and Engram fan. I was so excited when we signed them. That free agency was such an exciting time to be a Jags fan. We had a great run in 2022. But guys, these numbers, we just got to look at them. Christian Kirk has a cap hit of $24 million and a dead cap of $13 million. If we cut Kirk, that's a cap savings of $10 million. Okay. Evan Engram, a cap hit of $19 million and a dead cap of $5 million. You subtract the cap hit from the dead cap, that's a $14 million cap savings. So guys, therefore combined, that's $25 million in cap savings by moving on from Christian Kirk and Evan Engram. And I think we have to be honest and talk about the reality of the situation there and saying that maybe that is what is best for this football team. Now, it might not be as exciting on offense, but the reality is the reality. And I think that $25 million in cap space could definitely go to signing some of these free agents I'm going to be talking about later in this video. Now, guys, it doesn't all have to be doom and gloom. I think that our roster as it stands currently, there are some bright spots. I mean, we have Brian Thomas Jr., and don't get it twisted for a second. Our entire offense is going to run through him. And we've got guys, I mean, I'm hoping that we have a healthy Gabe Davis. I think a healthy Gabe Davis, we could see a deep threat option. We've got Parker Washington, Brenton Strange, and I think the most realistic path is running it back with those guys and then finding a receiver in like the third or fourth round and bringing him in. I mean, James Gladstone has done it time and time again. Cooper Kupp was a third round pick. Puka Nacua was a fifth round pick. Talk about hitting your draft picks. This guy has had great success finding talent in the later rounds. And so I think that that is our realistic path forward as far as weapons on offense. Again, I don't think we're going to go out and sign a big name or, I don't think we're getting Devontae Adams or anything like that. I think what we are going to end up doing is signing one offensive lineman, a starting corner, and a starting safety. And there are options out there in free agency to do just that. I think moving on from Kirk and Engram frees up the cap space to do so. And I think that that is the realistic path forward. And I think that it's going to be a successful path forward if the Jaguars opt to go that route. Some potential targets that I could see us going for this offseason, as far as building the trenches or building that dish, so to speak. I think of Mekhi Becton in Philly. He was such a pivotal part in their run game this year. And I think that that is like, as far as offensive line goes, our offensive line is actually really not terrible as far as pass protection. They do okay in pass pro, but our run game is awful and we need to revive our running game. Mekhi Becton was a huge proponent of Philly's run game. There's guys like Kevin Zeitler. I mean, coming from Detroit's offensive line is like cream of the crop, best in the league. I mean, they're great. I love Detroit's O-line. So getting a guy like him would be great. Another guy I'm looking at is Will Fries from Indy. I haven't really, he's been injured, so I don't know. Starting corner, let's talk about Darius Slay. I mean, the guy's 34 years old. He's really the big name coming out right now, right? Like the Eagles have just announced they're moving on from him. Darius Slay, even at 34 years old, I think you could sign Darius Slay and he would make an immediate impact. And I think that's the whole point of free agency. That's the whole concept of this, is you bring in somebody to supplement your team and then build through the draft. So you would draft that replacement. So I think of it kind of as like a bandage. This is the Band-Aid for the team right now, but it is not the cure. It's not going to heal the team's needs. So I think Darius Slay, you could sign a guy like him, immediately have a starting corner to impact the roster day one and get a good couple years out of him, draft somebody this year that can sit, can rotate and get some snaps here and there, and eventually replace that guy. And then I think you do the same for safety. I think Javon Holland is a guy I keep going back to, the safety out of Miami. Had a great year. I mean, he's a great safety. I think, again, you sign a guy like him, immediate impact on the team. And I think that's really the whole goal of this free agency, is just to get some immediate impact players that can come in and automatically make this a better roster and make it a more competitive roster. And guys, I really do think that we could turn it around quick. I don't think that this is a full-fledged rebuild or, blow it all up and start over. I just think it's a retooling of this team. And I think that we could be competing for the division this year. But anyway, guys, that's kind of where my head's at. That's my final prediction and final take for what I think this free agency is going to look like. I think we're going to sign an offensive guard in free agency. I think we're going to get a starting corner and a starting safety. And I think that we potentially move on from Evan Engram and Christian Kirk and use that $25 million in savings to allocate it towards signing some of these guys here. But let me know down in the comments below what you guys think. Are there some names that I might have missed? Who are you pounding the table for? Let me know down below. And guys, thank you so much for the support. Thanks again for the birthday wishes. Like and subscribe, and check out this video from last week.